much as I was just in their position as well. It was all about hockey, dreaming hockey, thinking hockey, and that was it, right? Just enjoying that part of it. And that's just their dream to want to get there, whether it be junior A, college hockey, pro hockey, or even the NHL. Like a lot of kids, it's just you just think about that only instead of, just thinking about all those other things surrounding it that will help you get to that same point.
That's
Um,
right.
but just like you said, as mentioned, I've had a good number of talks with different guys I've played with, or even just random, just asking me questions about Team Can. I think they have every player is a first rounder. I think except two guys on the team this year. I think, and those are
19 first rounders.
possibly the goalies. I think
Yeah.
Dylan Grand is one of them, being from Victoria. He's a goalie. I think he drafted, I think, fourth round by the New York Rangers. But I'm even telling them, I mean, as much as these guys are great hockey players, like some of them will only play 10 games in the NHL. I'm sure there'll be a good handful that stick in the NHL for 3, 5, 7 years, but it's no guarantee just because they're so good at that junior level. Like there's only a certain amount of jobs, and it's all about timing of when you're playing really well, and how you develop. But one of the big things too is I'm surprised of how it works, and that's just the business of hockey, is how these players that are of age that could play in the World Juniors, like we'll take Alexis Lafreniere or I guess Kirby Doc, but he was on the team. But there's another US player that wasn't allowed to go because his team said no. But like these guys, like that's the time of your life. Playing for your country at that age is like, I feel like everything other than playing in the NHL, and there's no guarantee that these guys will play in the NHL. So I'm very surprised that you know they're kind of, I don't know if the word is allowed to hold
I
them
agree.
back,
Yeah,
but I feel
I
like
don't
it's an
get so.
experience for them to grow on, to add to their resume, to add to just, yeah, their experience of going through that, and they can
Look,
take that with them to the NHL. But it's surprising that some kids can't take part just because they're supposed to be the next big thing, and they got a lot of potential, and kind of that investment in money is on the line. But
yeah, the business end of it just takes over,
yeah, it's surprising. But
unfortunately.
yeah, I mean, yeah, playing in the NHL is a great thing, but I mean, you could just get injured the next game and never play another NHL game. So that experience in the World Juniors is a lot, just how I see it. And finally, so do you have any stories you'd like to share throughout the whole career? Maybe whether it being, you know, best friends that you've met, some of the favorite road trips that you had during your time in, well, especially the East Coast or even in the A, sometimes that you felt like, being called up from the west of the US and had to travel to the East, like some adversity that you faced that you'd like to share.
Yeah, one story I always like to tell is the fact that Crosby grew up 2 years younger than me, but he played in our age group, and my age group was very strong in our second year of Pee Wee Bantam Midget. And then he was playing underage, but was still the best player. 2 years underage, still the best player. So we saw him at Pee Wee Atlantics, Bantam Atlantics. We played them in Bantam Atlantics, and in the round robin, we beat them. I think it was 11-10. Real goaltender battle. Um, but I think he won top four to that tournament. I won most sportsmanlike, so we had a picture together. And but it's just cool to see him do as well as he did. And I grew up playing against him, and he's every bit a classy guy that you see on TV. I've got a good friend of mine, Eric Nielsen, that's good friends with him, and they tell stories, but all good ones. I mean, he's just a great mentor, a class act, and being from the Maritimes, I'm really proud of what he's done at the NHL level. But just back to your about stories and stuff. I mean, you see the movie Slapshot, and the East Coast League definitely isn't like that bad, but there's things about it that I'll never forget. Like, you're traveling on these windy roads in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden the bus driver, you're sleeping up in your bunk, and the bus driver hits the weather strips on the outside of the road, and you think you're going to crash. And I mean, I don't know how many times I've woke up in the middle of the night on the highway and I thought I was going to fall out of my bunk. Just that minor league grind that, it's hard to explain what it was like. You were there, and it's such a grind, but you've got good friends that you're doing it with, and it made it pretty fun. And I love playing hockey. So going to that next town, whether it was Johnstown, Pennsylvania, or Wheeling, West Virginia, or some of these towns where, you've never heard of them other than they had an East Coast team. And you go there, you play, the fans are spitting on you and swearing at you. And, it really was the minors. And I loved every bit of it. You're in some of these shoebox dressing rooms, getting your gear on, and you're asking yourself, what am I doing here? But at the same time, they're great memories, and, I don't regret it for the world. And I'm glad I did what I did, and glad I took time and went away and got out of my own hometown and saw the world a bit and met good people. And, you're not, you're one of them for sure, but there's still a lot of the guys that I've played with that I became close friends with that I still keep in touch with, and always will. And it's a small world, and hockey world's even smaller. So, I've seen a lot of guys since I've played. I've seen them since. And, you and I you live on the other side of the country, but we'll see each other, at some point soon. And it's just the way it works. And it takes a little effort to keep in touch with people, but social media and stuff like that, it's very doable. And, a lot of these guys that I played with now are having lots of kids. And Bruce Graham, I played with him in Allen, Texas. He's got 4 kids. You have 5 kids? 4 kids. I'm having 4. Tyler Woodisig, another guy I play with, he's about to have 4 kids. And so it's just cool to see everyone's story after hockey too, and keeping in touch with people. And it's really a tight-knit family, and, I had a lot of good memories for sure.
Yeah, and just for the viewers, going back to when you were saying on the bus and the sleepers, a lot of ECHL teams travel at night. Our Greenville team, we traveled around, I feel like we left at 9 or 10 at night, and we'd arrive in the morning at a breakfast spot around 7-ish, 8-ish, and have a breakfast before we had practice. Usually we had a day before that we got there, so we had practice and not pregame skate. But different teams had different schedules, so a lot of traveling on the bus, and sometimes they had to play games, so that was part of the grind as well. Well, thank you very much for coming on here, and also want to just mention your development business is Justin Bowers Homes. Is that what it is? And
Yeah.
And out in the Maritimes there. Seems like it's growing fast, and you're always busy. So it's great to have you.
We're in Fredericton, New Brunswick, and it seems to be a growing city. It's a capital city in New Brunswick, and I'm kind of coming into the construction at a good time, and business has been booming. And you kind of take I've kind of taken my leadership skills from coaching and playing, and it's the same thing. I'm managing trades and building buildings and projects and houses, and you use the same skills. So it's good. I've kind of parlayed my hockey career into a contractor's life, and I'm home every night and put the kids to bed, and life's good.
Yeah, no, that's great. And it's great to catch up again there, Bowsy. Thanks very much for taking the time to come on, and hope the players, parents, and coaches appreciate all the knowledge, all the info and knowledge that you've had and to share with them. And hopefully we'll get you back on again soon.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot.